I know you had talked last time we had spoken about a cron scrape. You were talking about that was one of your use cases.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're starting to expand a little bit more into the DevOps world a little bit.
Oh, yep.
We work through an agile methodology. We come across shortcomings in tech everywhere. And one of the things that we wanted to do was find a really interesting way to unify these scripts that elevate just through commonality. And what I mean by that is like a problem is found, somebody drafts up a quick and dirty little script to do something, and somebody forgets about it. That's always the most common thing that happens in either security or operations or even development. I always call the old joke of, one guy leaves and nobody knows what the script does. Nobody reboots the system, but nobody knows what it does either. And so one of the things that we wanted to do was encourage that development to happen, because that's really crucial to making sure that you're solving problems, but do it in such a way that whoever is doing the development has an easy path to back that stuff up. And that seems really simple, but it's really challenging because you're either doing it through a manual process. Somebody has to go in, log into the system, scrape whatever scripts are there, and then document them. You do it through a cron script, which is an automated piece in Linux that, will back it up and save it maybe to a place off the box. But then you're relying on the system to do the work. But what we've done now is elevated outwardly to ThreatConnect to actually go and identify all of the different scripts that are present, to back up the ones that we deem to be critical. And we have a list that we say, hey, these are all critical. And then actually back them up into a development tool that stores and saves every version of those scripts. So now you can look back and say, hey, somebody updated this. You don't have to worry about a comment line in one of those scripts. You can see what was changed. You can start to track that organic development that happens, which is really crucial. Everybody has organic development that occurs outside of even a DevOps team. And it allows you to get that visibility and actually provide metrics on how many things are in your environment and what's actually critical. Because it may be that the one guy who wrote that thing back in 2005, because it keeps some legacy appliance online and boots it every 5 minutes or kicks something or does whatever, you now have visibility into that, where previously it may broke and now you're scrambling to try and solve it. And it allows you to really kind of categorize that. And talking a little bit about XDR, it gives you context around what's actually running. So
I love that. And I love too that you're again branching out, and we're talking about threat intel now expanding beyond security when you start talking about DevOps and DevSecOps, and it's really just broadening and really emphasizing the need for threat intel throughout. I love it.
Yeah, it's a really powerful engine that I don't think is leveraged or hasn't been realized yet. And there's always, I'll go back to the firewall one. That's the easiest demo to show. It's a one-click button. But when you start to break down silos across, organizations and teams, you start to really look at it from a perspective of outcome. And that outcome, for us is making the analyst's job easier or more effective, because it's not, I don't want to say it's just a one-click button solves all problems, but really taking that feedback and starting to push that forward means that you're now starting to see an impact, and you're now starting to get this return on investment, and this time to action is reduced, and guys are freed up to do more and more interesting things. And it becomes this kind of really cascading effect that is spread across security teams, operational teams, impacts on executives or stakeholders across the board. And it all starts from kind of this one little engine that is kind of the art of the possible. And when you look at it as an integrator, where integrating threat intel in data sources, in automation, and putting it kind of together in that unified approach, it's really powerful. It can be something really quite amazing. There's always a little bit of risk to it. You want to make sure you take, baby steps. You don't want to be deploying everything into production right off the bat, but you start to put your hooks into more things, and you realize that you've got a really mature platform that drives a lot of things really quickly and really effectively.
That's awesome. We love to say the art of the possible. Awesome. Well, Devin, thank you so much for your time today. Really excited about this and really appreciate all you're doing.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.